not trying to stiff him because they respect his business. They respect him as a business person. How much is it going to cost you to do the blind, sir? Okay, that's how much we're going to pay you. We're not going to ask you for back end on your blinds. We're not going to ask you to give us a percentage of the company because you did the blinds here and we're a number one radio station or a number one brand or entity. They don't even think like that. Only to us. Only to the people, the very people that they need to keep the lights on, do they try to come at and stifle in that way. And it's a greed, but it's also like a fear of lack of partnership. I think that the industry looks at us like, hey, they don't really need us. And maybe they'll treat us the way we treated them all these years once they figure that out. So I just want people that hear this part of our conversation to know that, like, don't be anti-corporation, but understand that when you're dealing with these entities,
get that bag with them, not for them.
They are your partners. You understand? It's important for them to understand that coming in and all the way through. And it's important for your team to understand that. Don't let them divide and conquer you. Don't let them go and offer your man $10 million. You know what I'm saying? For 30 episodes.
Hey, because you know what's fucked up?
And then try to use
Pre-yesterday
that to twist. Hold on.
Pre-yesterday, us having that conversation, I would have fucked us off.
To twist your shit around. That's bad business and that's gang goofy. It's hustling backwards. You know what I mean? And it's important. If you want to jump off the limb and show the world your talent, it is your responsibility to learn the business that your talent resolves in.
I mean,
otherwise, we don't want to hear shit when they fuck you.
It's the people. The people has to be the one to, you know what I'm saying. But then again, though, when we talk about, moguls and shit, talking about we shouldn't give it all away. The thing about us is that I feel like we don't build enough of our own brands. Like, and when we do build our own brands,
we give them away.
We don't let them stay around longer. Like, what the fuck? Why is Rockaway still not around?
Okay, I'm gonna give you one word.
Why is what's it called?
Everybody wants, or it's a one word answer, crossover. Everybody wants to cross over and make sure they're fucking hitting every demographic to get their bread.
That's not
no,
even.
I mean, are you talking specifically? Because I know the math behind that.
No,
if you specifically are talking about the Rockaway deal.
No. What I'm saying is this.
But if you're talking about like collectively.
What I'm saying is we support other people's shit to the point where their shit can keep going. Niggas buy Gucci like it's nothing.
Gucci ain't selling it. They're not selling.
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
I do understand what you're saying.
What I'm saying is our brands, for some reason, they be disappearing.
No, that's what I'm speaking to.
Okay, here's what happened. Well, listen to this. Look at Fubu. Fubu crossed over because they wanted a bigger market and started getting fucking sold and saturated through Walmart. Same with P. Miller Clothing.
No, that was after they sold it, though. If you go look up that deal. See, the thing about building brands in this capitalistic like state of things, you build brands to sell them.
Right.
I'm not even...
That's the name of the game in branding. But the thing is
or
we
Fat
don't
Farm.
have...
Fat Farm is in fucking Walmart.
Hold on, bro. We don't have the legacy play. We don't have the accumulated wealth collectively. We do individually, but we don't have a situation to where we're all going to get behind one brand and make it a legacy brand. It's no different than BET.
I'm not even talking about one brand. Gucci is not one brand. Louis is not one brand. But niggas buy all that shit.
Okay, so you're having two conversations.
But a lot of people buy.
Are you having a conversation of why do we buy those brands? Or why our brands that we just start right off the street 10 years ago aren't lasting as long as a brand that's been here 100 years?
No, that's not what I'm saying. Okay, so why is that brand able to last 100 years and not ours?
Because he said, people
are you
make
asking
brands.
me or are you just posing that question? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I'm just saying. I feel like the problem is us as black people, we don't support our own shit the same way we support other people's shit.
But it's not.
Niggas
I don't feel like it's that, because look at
Yeah,
Fubu.
there's never been a
was
we
for
all of
us,
our brands
by
are
us
successful
for hella long.
So again,
and made millions
if they're
of dollars.
successful, where are they at now?
They
Why
sell.
are they still not
He
around
already.
now?
Let me
he
answer your
already
question.
answered
Let me
it.
answer your question
they
again.
sold it.
No, let me answer the question again. You're speaking to the lack of black conglomeracies, like the type of companies where all we do is buy companies. We're as a people, we're moving into that space. We're moving into the space to where one entity or one man can own several different companies, and therefore find themselves it lucrative for them to buy a brand that's popular, right? That's not something that, I mean, it's a wealth gap disparity. Like, we can't be fooled by the fact that there's a bunch of Negroes that's driving in Bentleys and wearing gold and jewelry and think that, like, the wealth gap has been kind of closed in some kind of way. Like, because when you think about black people that are wealthy, we all talk about the same Negroes. You're talking about one in a lifetime celebrities that then pulled themselves up and did some shit that we might not ever do in 100 years of trying.
Because how many billionaires
hold on,
are there?
Let me finish my point. That's what I'm saying. Let me finish my point though, because the legacy play on that is when you can own Louis Vuitton and that's not the fucking breadwinner for your family. It's like the reason why the Giants, it's why NFL teams don't sell often, because they don't have to. I don't care how shitty the team is doing or how bad the fucking ticket sales are, because this
Louis Vuitton
this NFL
is part
team,
of a fucking
bro.
umbrella.
This NFL team is not how I pay my bills. This is some shit I bought on the side. Mark Cuban didn't get rich from the Dallas Mavericks. He could lose the Dallas Mavericks tomorrow and still be a billionaire, because that's not why he's a billionaire. And it's important when we think of these athletes and entertainers that have acquired some money. Yeah, they might be a billionaire, but you're worth $2-3 billion. You still have to, like, you know, this is capitalistic America, and the goal is, because there's still systemic racism in that too, and I think that's what you're speaking to as well, Dio. But it's not just on black people not supporting black brands, because that's not true. Every black brand that has gotten over the threshold of being a brand that's made it has been supported by black people. Like, but we fool ourselves and think that Louis Vuitton is gonna go out of business if Negroes stop buying it.
I'm not saying
that you said that.
No, it don't
But
matter if
what
they
I'm saying
run out
is-
of
but
business
what I'm
if
saying
niggas
is-
buy them or not. But I know they're still in business because niggas buy them.
I
What
mean,
do you
you
mean?
could-
If
you
you
could-
subtract what niggas buying Gucci and Louis and all that shit, you don't think that's gonna have an effect
I
on
mean,
that
I don't want to
company?
assume that. I don't want to assume that. And the reason why I don't want to assume that is because I, to this day, know more white people that are wealthy that walk around in Louis, Gucci, Fendi, and
Of
Prada
course, I know
than
it.
any black person. I know when we watch TV and the videos and shit, but nigga, I be with you niggas every day. We ain't wearing Gucci and Fendi and Prada.
My point is
Like,
still, why is shit like, again, if Gucci and Louis and shit like that can continue to last the way they're lasting, how come shit like Rockaway and shit like whatever
because you're
Diddy
talking
had
about a
going
street
on
brand.
continue to go on?
Because bro,
now,
first
why
off, you
do
can't
they
even
have to be
compare
a
them.
street brand?
Because there are a street brand, fam. Like, that's not a racist or like contentious statement. Like, when you streetwear is something that, I'm from New York City originally. Streetwear,
Jeans is everybody wear jeans.
Hold on, bro. That's not what I'm talking about though. Streetwear is something that derives out of the streets. It's the rocker, it's the Rough Riders clothing and all these type of things. These are shit that derive from street things, street culture, street mentality. So when they make a jump and you start trying to make sweaters and coats and things like that, yeah, you're at the bottom of the totem. Because do you even have the resources to make good coats? Because you got into the game making t-shirts, jeans, you know what I'm saying, and dad hats and snapbacks. That's a different factory than a factory that's making coats.
So again,
that's making sweaters and goose down boots and things like that.
That still goes into
and
what
you're
I'm
comparing
saying.
something that's been around for 200 years to things that are just now starting.
So again,
if you sell Rockaware clothing for $300 million and invested only $8 to $10 million, you and your 3 partners, into bringing it into life, and y'all turn around and sell it for $300 million. That's not a success story.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, but the thing is, sometimes we gotta understand these brands. Some of these brands, FUBU was made to be sold. That was their plan going in. We as black people just got so proud of it that we wanted it to last forever. What their message was
All
for
I'm
us, by
saying-
us, nigga, make another brand.
All I'm saying is this: we need to support our shit just as hard as every other shit. That
I
we
get what you're
support.
saying, but
And another thing I'm saying that is this: if Gucci and Louis and them niggas can do what they did, so can we. Okay.
Okay.
I don't
Wait,
think-
wait.
Yeah,
Let me ask something.
It's not about
Hold
the
on,
fact
Dio,
that they've been
Dio,
around
hold
for
on,
100
hold
or
on.
200 years.
Hold on.
Of course, that's a factor.
But hold on.
But we can get to that point too.
nobody's saying that we can't. Though.
So
But
wait.
we don't- so how come we're
Let me
not?
answer something.
What, you
Let
don't
me-
think there's no black brand that's been around for 100 years?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying there's no black brands that hasn't been. I'm saying, okay, how come they're not as popular or as mainstream as a Gucci or a Louis, or how come we don't know that black people rock them?
I mean, that's because first of all, we don't own the media. We don't own a social media website. We don't own any DSPs outside of Hove. And a lot of niggas don't even, they too cool. They too cool to spend $9.99 with Hove. They'd rather give it to everybody else.
And how many people got money to compete with fucking Louis Vuitton and all that shit when they're in every major fashion magazine?
See, y'all,
They're buying fucking $1 million billboards in
Y'all
fucking
tripping.
Times Square and shit.
that's nothing.
No, but what I'm saying
They're
is,
the clothes of royalty.
but here's
Like-
here's what I'm saying. They don't get the same. They don't have the same promotional budget. It's hard for a black fucking clothing company that doesn't do fucking high end fashion. Cause you know what, hold on, let's get to it. Virgil Abloh, Off-White, that's a high end brand owned by a black dude.
But it's new.
That's designer. That's something that can stay around for 100 years. But it just started, so we don't know what he's going to do with that. That's not Fear of God, FOG. That's a fucking black designer brand.
And it's important to remember the history of this country, bro. Like,
Right. And
75 years ago,
matter of
like,
fact,
was you gonna have the opportunity to,
I was just gonna say
be
that
building a high-end brand?
I don't want to sound like I don't, because it might sound like I'm saying we should have done this, or I know there's factors of why we don't have a lot of shit or why we don't own a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on.
But
Here's another thing.
What I'm saying is that once that opportunity started for us, I feel like we should keep it going. You know what I'm saying?
Here's
Here's
the
the thing, though.
it sounds
Okay,
like you
listen.
think we're not.
Listen.
And
Here's
that's
another
why
thing. Here's another thing. So we'll go spend $1,200 on a Gucci fucking jacket or something, right?
Some people will.
Right. The problem is we set our own bar too low. If you want to be a if you want to be a high end designer brand, you have to come in at my t-shirts are $200. Period. This is where I started.
But niggas criticize Yeezy for that.
I don't.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking to the people.
That's
when
what
I
it
was
has
trying
to
to
be. If it
explain
needs
that
to be
to
a
people,
designer brand, you have to come in at designer prices from the gate. You can't sell to niggas like us $15 t-shirts and shit, and then fucking 6 months after we've been supporting you, oh, now my shirts is $400. We ain't we're at that point, we're not fucking with that. But if you came in the game at $200, $300, $400 and you had some shit that was hot to me and it was black owned, I'd fucking buy that before I buy Gucci. I don't buy none of that designer shit.
Like, let me add on to this, because that's a good point that he brings up. And so I guess what I'm asking is the issue not that we don't support our shit like we support Gucci, Louis, and et cetera, not to give them all this fucking name recognition, but we don't separate high-end brands. Like
we don't separate ourselves from
because I'm
every
listening
other
to you
nigga
compare
selling
Rockaware
t-shirts.
and fucking FUBU with Gucci, Louis, Fendi, and Prada. And
Yeah,
it's just
because
like,
the most expensive
Hold
Rockaware
on.
shit was like $100
No,
jeans.
that's not my point. My point is when a black person goes out and tries to start a high-end brand, they say, no, these pants, They're silkly. They're made. They're cut this way.
Right.
I need 900 for them. The first thing cats want to do is be like, oh, this nigga crazy, man. He trying to charge 900 for some pants.
Right.
Who he think he is? Gucci?
Right, but they would give Gucci that 900. They wouldn't question.
But what it comes down to is because
been around for 100, 200 years.
What it comes down to is separating thing. Like, okay, this is Keem them. They got some shit popping over there. They got a nice little streetwear brand. It's tight. Okay, that's Shorty over there. She got a little couture brand. Like, okay, these dudes over here, they got a little high-end brand. So when you separate that, you know, okay, when I'm trying to go spend some money, and I want to spend with black people, I'm gonna go over here where I know that this is about spending money. They got $800 sweaters and $1,300 coats and shit like that of that high fashion and that high quality.
Motherfucking
Gucci been around for 99 years.
Motherfucking Paper Planes is a higher end urban fucking clothing line.
Right.
Their t-shirts are $100.
Right.
Their fucking their sweatsuits are fucking $350.
Shout out to the kids.
So
man.
do you know what
with us.
He came in at that price point. You know what I'm saying? It was with Biggs and them. It wasn't, oh, your new era isn't the regular $35. No, your new era is $50. Get used to that. Your t-shirt isn't $25, $50. No, $75, $100.
Right.
Get used to that. Your sweat fit ain't $100 for the whole thing. No, it's $100 pants, $200 jacket. Get used to that. That's where the separation comes in at. They could have did, I could have did another Rockefeller where my jeans are 60, shirts are 25. No.
That's a great point.
And that will be in Paper Planes. I promise you will be around for a long fucking time.
What I also want to say is, I think that black creators, especially, we should spend with each other. We should encourage each other. We should support each other. But we don't have to create solely for each other. You know, a lot of times with black businesses, it's like, if you're really trying to compete, why are you only trying to sell to black people?
Right.
If you make a product that's quality and that black people are proud to get behind, they will be behind you. You don't have to pander to black people.
Right.
Because black people like nice shit. Because if you study our history, we actually come from nice shit. So that's why you got poor cats running around and they still got a nice wardrobe. That's cultural too. It ain't just because you're dumb and you don't spend money well. Part of that shit is cultural to get fly. And it's important that we start having these conversations with each other so that no one can come in and diminish us. No one can down talk us because this cat got on a hat that costs $55. And someone could say, "Oh, well, you're not wealthy. That's stupid. That's dumb." They make hats that's $3. Well, that's not the fucking hat that I want. That's not the hat that makes me feel good and inspires my soul. This $55 hat do. And like that's what he was saying. Get used to this. This hat $55. The exclusive one's gonna be $70 and up.
Like I know if I ever want to go wear fucking off-white shit, off-white t-shirts $200. I know I have to pay that, but I know I'm shopping with a black-owned business. I know Virgil Abloh is a fucking New York nigga.
And there's also cats that make brands where the shirt is gonna be $20, and it's gonna be just as fly. Because guess what though, you corny. If the only thing that makes you fly is designer clothes and brands, and we all know that. You know, we get fly in whatever we.
But that's what I mean. That's when I said. That's what I mean when I said if I'm spending $200, $300, $400, it's got to be some shit that I like and I want to wear.
There's nothing wrong with the options.
Most shit that I like is fucking LRG, hundreds, fucking shit like urban fucking t-shirt wearing shit like that.
Right.
Fucking Paper Planes, fucking. Some off-white shit is not extra designer and it's kind of urban. I fuck with it. But nigga, I wear fucking tennis shoes and shit. I don't wear fucking... And I got tennis shoes worth fucking Bally's and Louis Vuittons and fucking Gucci's and all that shit. I got shoes worth that and Nikes and Yeezys and shit like that.
Yeah, there's a difference.
I don't like designer clothes. That's not my bag. You would never see me in a fucking Gucci... any of that shit. I mean, unless they like, here's a sponsorship, boom, we gonna send you a package of shit. Fuck it, I'll wear it. I'm getting a bag from.
Hey, relax, man. Stop giving up the goods, my nigga. Stop giving up the goods, my nigga. Don't tell them what we gonna do. Don't tell them what we gonna do, man. We love all these brands, nigga. Get us drippy.
Okay.
Oh, skills.
So,
all right. So what's up, man?
Dio, what you got for us?
Take us on the next.
What you
on the next joint, man.
What you got for us right now?
Where we go?
So, what I want to know is, you know, I always say that, you know, the old racism shit, or the old white power shit, whatever you want to call it, the old privilege shit, you know, the old power shit, you know, if you don't want to connect white to it, you know, whatever. I feel like I always say that, you know, well, there's no such thing as not connecting white to it. You know?
You gotta talk a little more into the mic. Pause. But just a little close.
So what I'm saying is that it took an extreme, you know, for white people to acquire what they acquired when they was acquiring it, or that they're still acquiring. You know, it took a certain extreme. And nobody was able to, like, tell them what type of extreme, you know, that should be, or, you know, whatever the case may be. They just did what they thought they had to do at whatever extreme they thought they had to do it at. So, the issue that I have is now they also want to control the narrative of how extreme somebody else can be about asking to not be oppressed anymore. Or they want to tell Africans in America how to ask for freedom or how to ask for justice. You know, because everybody is always, you know, everything is cause and effect, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're a smart, reasonable human being, you know, you would, you know, and you think with clear mind, you would see that you cannot attack one thing without looking at the other. Right. You know, if you talk about, for example, you talk about looters and rioters, and you talk about that's against the law, they should be prosecuted and so on and so forth. If you're going to say that about looters and rioters, so what about the cops that are committing the crime, that are causing the looters and rioters to do what they're doing? And then number two, it almost seems like you have no interest in doing anything. You know, because as long as the protest is peaceful, you know, whatever. Just let them do their marching, let them do their crying. You talking
Malcolm versus Martin in theory.
You know, and we'll support them for a couple of days and they'll go away. Right. You know, but
put Black Lives Matter on some shit.
But you know what I'm saying? Paint it on the street, you know what I'm saying? Do all that. Right. But you guys have done that for so long. That's always been your answer to, oh, these people are mad about what we're doing to them. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, support them this way, listen to them cry, and, you know, they'll be okay, you know. But it's like you're not ever addressing the issue, you know. So, all I'm saying is this. How, since you guys, you know, are saying we cannot, Black Lives Matter for some reason rubs some white people the wrong way. I mean, it's just...
I got a question for you, though. And I mean this with all... You know, you're my brother. I love you. I mean this with all respect. Better yet, let me pose it this way. A woman is at a nightclub. She's raped in the bathroom. The next day, she's on her way to work. Said guy, the rapist, pulls over and tells her sorry. Does that matter to her? You know, and I don't want you to speak for a woman because we're not women. I'm just painting an idea. I'm painting an idea.
Are you asking, like, does that make it any better?
I'm painting an idea of when we start concerning ourselves with how oppressors feel when we fight oppression, they're winning some of the battle because they're in our head, they're in our mind, and they're in our consciousness. And what's important to remember is that it's about consciousness, because it's not necessarily about right or wrong, because all of us were cattle and it was right. Slave patrol units are real, and they derived into police patrol units. So when we say Black Lives Matter and people get offended by that, they're nitpicking. It's like when that one guy in the room, when you're talking about women being sexually assaulted, that one guy, that bozo that says, oh, well, men get raped too. It's not what the fuck we're talking about. That's no different than the whole all lives matter
Can we call
concept
it for what it is? If you have a problem with Black Lives Matter, and if you have to fucking find yourself saying all lives matter, you're a fucking racist at some point in your life. Period, point blank. Period. Anybody who fucking has a problem with the Black Lives Matter and you fucking do Blue Lives Matter or All Lives Matter, you're a fucking piece of shit.
Let me say this though, just so we don't not in so much finality. Like,
you might not be in I'm in finality with that.
I'm speaking. That's what I'm saying. I'm speaking for myself individually, okay. But I wanted to be clear that, like, you can be for Black liberation and not give two fucks about the Black Lives Matter organization. But I think two things can be true. I think the Black Lives Matter organization could be an organization and an entity that does its thing and fights for Black liberation in the ways that it does. And it can also be the place where a profound statement derives from, which is, hey, Black Lives Matter. And some people are out there saying Black Lives Matter. They got a Black Lives Matter shirt on and a hat on, and that's all they're doing is making that profound statement. And then there's other people that are actively members and a part of an organization entitled Black Lives Matter. And I think it's important that we start making that distinction, because one starts to overlap the other, and it's not fair to put everyone in the same group. We're all black people just trying to get liberated.
Right.
I don't give a fuck what organization achieves that goal.
So, to me, Black Lives Matter is not even about an organization. To me, it's
there is an organization.
Right,
called
right.
That.
There is
okay.
Right. To me, it's a statement. It's something.
I hear you.
You know what I'm not.
It's more statement based with me as well.
I'm not behind any organization.
Right. I don't pay dues. I ain't on no little mailing list.
But all I know is based on your actions. That's me letting you know. Don't look at me as somebody that doesn't matter. That you can just treat anyhow.
Or don't look at my nephew or my son or my child or my woman.
Exactly.
Don't look at people that look like me. People that I don't even know. Don't look at them like
Based on the record of how you have been treating us for the past 401 years. It's a statement for me. It's for you to recognize that I'm not gonna stand around and let you bullshit me or try to bullshit my life. That's not happening. I'd rather die while you're trying to bullshit me than to stand there and let you do that shit to me. Whatever the fuck it is that you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Because it almost seems like we're back in them times where motherfuckers feel like, they can just do whatever or say whatever to black people now and just or move however, around them.
I think that it's just on display. I mean, being a person that's originally from the inner city and has moved to places like Las Vegas or, Reno, Nevada, I think that boldness has always been there. I just think that, like, we live in an era where it's part of the culture to record your experiences. We come from an era originally that if I went back to my neighborhood or to my cousins or something, was like, yo, man, these white kids, man, they was calling me nigger and spitting at me, and they was like, well, what'd you do? I said, I recorded them. That would be the weirdest shit ever. They're like, what the fuck you recording? What is that gonna do? Because they didn't have social media. That wasn't a thing then. They didn't be like, you either was gonna run the fuck out the way, get into safety, or you was gonna throw some shit back or get your shit off. Like, you know what I mean? But we're in a different world now, and I think that's part of it. That's part of the whole notion that, oh man, look what they doing to that dude over there. You just record it, and now you upload it to the thing, and the next thing you know, an investigation is happening because people were tearing up the streets because they got to see that, like, yo, this person shouldn't have died that way. But I'm telling you, man, this shit has been going on in this country since inception. Like, it hasn't stopped. And that's why it's so embedded in the culture here. That's why so many people that's not affected by it can see it happen every day and still not be affected by it. It's just been happening since they were kids. And since their kids was kids. But that's why they try to push slavery back so long ago and all these things. Try to make it seem like it was so far away that there's no way it can be a connection. But you're damn right it is. Damn right it is. You know what I mean? And I just think that it's something that if we're going to move as a collective unit as a people, we all have to kind of like do our part. Everybody. Because at the end of the day, man, like, I don't see a lot of black people not getting behind other movements because the way black people are treated. Hence, all the black soldiers and military men and women. You can argue, why would any person of color fight for this country? You can literally make that argument. And you can go down to, there's black women that go off to fight for this military that never make it home, not because of a war, but because they were raped and murdered in their barracks. Rest in peace to those young women. You know, these things happen.
What, Fort Hood had fucking what, like 4 or 5 motherfucking
Man, there's
people
several.
come
Only
on
why
this-
I'm not going into detail of it is because I don't have those young women's names. I don't want to be disrespectful to their story.
Don't go to Fort Hood. They out there fucking.
Well, you don't have
tripping.
no choice.
I know. Just stop fighting for the country. Don't give a fuck about you.
So it's just one of those things, man. How many trillions of dollars are we spending annually on the military? And you know, it's just like, man, I'm not anti-military, but I come from a military family, in fact.
So do I.
But my grandfather and father served, and one of the things that they put in my head was that there was ways that I could serve my community and people without going into the United States military, and that stuck with me. I'm not shitting on anybody that served. I commend them, but it is something to be said. Like,
fuck Drew Brees.
Black people have fought in every war that this country's had, and they haven't always received the benefits.
Nope, never. You know, shit. All them soldiers came home, got all them houses, but all the black soldiers couldn't get not a fucking thing.
All them soldiers came home and were getting beaten up and killed for wearing their fucking uniforms when they went out. But you just fought and fucking seeing your people die for this country, but you come back.
Some work, because I want to say this, man. Racist, they know where to go. Yeah, they catch your ass in a nearly all-white town in your military uniform, you had a problem. They wasn't in Harlem doing that shit.
Yeah, I know.
They wasn't in Detroit doing that shit.
I know that, but
so
I'm
let's
just
give
saying,
it up like it's supposed to. Like, they cowards, nigga. They catch you when, you're outnumbered and when you're vulnerable. Because if so-called white supremacists really felt that way, why they ain't never in Harlem? Why they ain't never in North Richmond, East Oakland, Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn? They ain't never in the Bronx talking that shit. They're always in some suburban-ass white city that has a small, relatively docile group of minorities, and that's who they kind of prey on. They know what time it is. So I just don't want to give them that kind of power, or even perceive it. Our problem is the white supremacists that are police chiefs, judges, district attorneys, state senators, congressmen and women that actively wake up every day and try to legislate us into nothingness. And that's the real fight. That's why everybody hearing this podcast, man, we are a voting podcast, man. Get your lazy ass up, get registered, and vote. Or don't ever speak about politics. can't stand talking to a nigga about what's going on in the country, and they're not fucking politically engaged. Because what happens is you put yourself on the sideline. We all are stuck with 4 choices. We got 2 people for vice president and 2 people for president. You have to find the commonalities within that group, and then if you don't like that in 4 years, man, get out there and try to get you somebody else, man. Get out there and try to get you somebody else. All these organizations
stop letting a political party force feed you any type of fucking candidate.
Stay away from gang culture.
We done fucking lost out 2 years on the perfect candidate to be fucking not 2 years, the last 2 fucking presidential races.
Perfect.
That we had the perfect candidate twice to be the perfect, fucking not perfect, but we had the right progressive candidate twice that got fucked out by their own fucking organization, and
they play politics,
right?
But that person is conducive to that system as well,
right?
And that's why all his supporters are complaining more than he is. See, we're talking about a millionaire's game. At the end of the day, multi-millionaires can't and should not speak for poor people. You find me the U.S. congressman or woman and the U.S. senator that's not a multi-millionaire. I don't give a shit if you Democrat gang or Republican gang. They all stick with each other, and they're not really going hard against each other like they try to make it seem on our favorite commercials. This shit ain't no different than how they play us with sports. This ain't no different than blood crip culture. This gang culture. And that's why a lot of people are foolish, and if you look at their voting on Republicans, so they just vote all the way Republican. It don't matter that they black and there's a Republican that vowed to get rid of every Negro, they're still going to vote that because they're blind followers. And it's the same thing on the Democratic side. What we got to do is wake up, man, because there need to be like a people party.
Yep. Because all these motherfuckers
the birthday party
vote with their damn party, man. They don't vote for the people, man.
You really don't?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, you do.
Talking that bullshit over here. Birthday party, nigga. That shit sounds stupid.
They don't support the people for shit, bro. You know, all they do is support themselves. You know, the fact that they are lobbyists in politics.
Some of that is our fault, though.
You know,
some of the American populace, man, we're not. All the shit that America like holds true.
Who lobbies for the people?
Yeah, that's what I'm proud of these young cats for, man. I'm proud of these millennials. You know what I mean? I'm proud of them because, you know, coming from the 80s, 90s, you had all these niggas that was gangsters and tough. You know what I'm saying? And what they do for people. Shoot up the neighborhood, kill a bunch of innocent bystanders.
It's alright to be soft, niggas.
You know what I'm saying?
It's cool. You can have a soft side. So
what I'm saying is that, like, I'm just talking about the culture of these young cats. Because when I was out there in the streets, man, like, I seen young cats that, like, you know, they might be some street kids, but then I seen a whole bunch of the college students. I seen a whole bunch of the trans community and all that type of shit. And they was out there fighting and screaming one thing, and that's Black Lives Matter. And when I was young and doing my little protest shit coming up, I ain't never seen no street niggas out there with me. They was always missing on that one.
Dog, when we did the march, when there was a little march in Reno, a lot of the street niggas who all the